Thanks very much for all of your quiet demeanor. If you wish to talk, or you may leave the room, but not in here, please. Last year, Clayton Tedeton was here, and I didn't know him. I didn't know what he was doing, or what he had. But he has some rather unique and effective formulations that have been given to him in the fields of personal health as well as agricultural health. I think you're going to be very interested in what he has to say, because to my way of thinking it is different, and it's something that all of us can use. Some of you have been using it since last year, some of his products, and a lot of you will learn about it for the first time here today. From down around the Bayou country in Louisiana, welcome Clayton Tedeton here this afternoon, if you will, please.
Good to be here today. All of us are here to glean knowledge, if not for a healthier life for ourselves, but for a neighbor, a friend. And whenever we have the knowledge to go forth and do good, it is amazing. I didn't ask for what God gave me 17 years ago, but He saw fit to give me a formulation for something that I knew nothing about. But in the last 17 years, He's thrown it all over 24 foreign countries, all over the United States. And it hinges on several things, but energy. We can all understand energy. Without energy, we're dead. Plant life will not grow without energy. Human body will not grow without energy. So whenever we understand our bodies as well as we understand the radiator of our car and the paint job, we'll be way ahead. So to give you a few things that you may not know, the amazing human body. As far as the records are concerned, I think if you look at 1 square inch of your skin, it's hard to believe there's 15 foot of tubing running through that 1 inch. But check with your medical book. There's 15 foot of blood vessels every square inch of your body. Then there's 6 million plus electrical cells. We can understand the cylinders of an automobile, but whenever we can understand our body operates in that beautiful way. Everything has got to be clicking together. I did not know this, but God has revealed this to me through people. That night, July night, in 1981, when God woke me up at 1 o'clock at night, flashed this formulation on my bedroom wall. My wife thought I was having a nightmare. I just told her to copy it down. And if you read my testimony in the literature, you'll understand it would take so long to go through this, because God is great in details. But it would take so long, so you can read that in the testimony that you can pick up over here or back at the booth. But energy. Our bodies get bogged down from the food that we eat, the acid, yeast, and toxins. One of the greatest problems with the human body is the food turning into fatty acid. Many of you that understand this, that's in the medical field, fatty acid in the body creates so many different problems. We've heard this one come up with his concoction. This man will come up with a formulation. I didn't know this, but I do know this. God holds the secrets to all things. I did not know this God for the first 50 years of my life. I watched church people. I didn't understand it, but on the 18th day of April 1982, I met this light, this creator, this God. And he still gives secrets to the righteous. So through the whole thing, to tell you a little bit about what's happening, the body gets bogged down with these chemicals. God made this stomach to put food in it. So when you know about this, you're not in bondage. You can't eat this, you can't eat that. You can go forth, have a good life, eat anything that you want in moderation. Never have any trouble. Your blood system will totally stay cleaned out. I'll go through one product at a time. We have 2 soaps, one for normal skin, the other one for oily skin. You've got one or the other. And over the years, it's been established this is the only soap that'll clean the sweaty, waxy residue out of the pores of your skin. And I've told a lot of people, if you want to see really what you're carrying around, get in a bathtub of warm water, put some of the soap in it, get in it and sit still till the suds disappear, and watch the hundreds of little things floating on top of the water. That's your pores being cleaned out. All right, whenever the pores are cleaned out, this fatty acid, toxins come out of your skin. A lot of people say, oh man, I don't believe that. I said, well, eat you some garlic one day, go out and sweat a little and lick your left arm here and it'll taste just like garlic. There's a place on your body that toxins from each one of your organs come out. Whenever that filter, our body is a beautiful, marvelous filtering system. We wouldn't think about putting an air conditioning filter through what we put our body through. The filter on your air conditioning on your automobile. You wouldn't put the soap that you spend the time trying to get clean on your automobile paint. So I'm here to tell you about something that once your body is functioning right, you want to kick up your heels, you want to go out and tell other people. So that's the whole message. It's not something extra. It's something you've got to buy anyway. So if you're suffering with dry skin, this will totally solve it. The other soap is for people that's got oily skin. I've got 30 weight oil running out of me every evening. And before this was revealed, I had to shampoo my hair couple of times a day if I was out on business. I looked like somebody had hit me over the head with a greasy rag all the time, just limp grease. But this has been a miracle for me. Then we have a neutralizer. It's a clear looking water. I laughed 2 weeks ago, a famous doctor on television was telling that a complex arrangement of magnesium, calcium, and potassium was responsible for healing cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, and several other things, but they were still checking. God gave me that knowledge 17 years ago. And hundreds of people scattered over the United States and foreign countries, they have believed, and they're seeing the glory of God. We had this clear liquid composed of 7 different material, natural, minerals, and organics. And I didn't have a name for it. Everything that you read about this product is God inspired. I don't understand it myself, but I've got to either lie and get caught in it or tell you the truth. I have no education in chemistry to fall back on. But I met the one that put it all together. And I tell people, if you don't believe what I say, believe me for the works that I do, because it's real. Okay, this clear liquid, I had no name for it. 8 people in the factory. I said, we need a name for this product. Nobody could come up with anything. We joined hands, we prayed. Nobody could come up with anything. And all of a sudden, neutralizer come into my spirit. I'd never uttered that word before in my life. I think I'd heard my wife say somebody put something to neutralize some smelly permanent on her head or something. But I had not ever mentioned that word. And I said, God has given me that name, neutralizer. They had never heard of anything like it. So I stamped neutralizer on it. Now that I know this much in the last 12 years, it neutralizes anything. You can get snake bit. And the reason I know all of this, I give this product away for 5 years. If you come to buy a carpet, I give you a jug of this product. If you come to buy a brick, I give you a jug of this product. If you lived in my rent property, I furnish the soap, because a lot of people think they can hide grease pouring it down a kitchen drain. Any of you ever own rent property? You know what I'm talking about. It was cheaper to give them the soap than it was to call the Roto-Rooter people. But anyway, one by one, over the years, these people that I had give this product to, God moved on them to use it in such fascinating ways. They began to tell me they had stomach ulcers. They'd tried everything. They were moved on to sip a little of that. Even last year here, Trudy Berman, she's a lady who sells those beautiful scarves. Any of you remember her? She had 7 poison ivy sores on her arm. In 4 or 5 hours, they were almost totally healed up, where you could rub them, no juice or anything. And we energized some of that neutralizer last year here and got everybody so happy. Some of them had to get up and leave out of the congregation, because when you're full of energy, you've got to tell somebody, and it shows on you. Happy people stand out in this world, and you don't see too many happy people. Not very many people give people hope. This lady with the heart thing, that's great. No telling when you'll run into somebody. Try it out. Okay, the neutralizer. People began to call me. I got snake bit. I forced the neutralizer into the wound. Solved the problem. Got burned totally on my hand, on my leg. Put it on it. Got totally healed in a super quick state. Going through everything, I'll skip around on some of these because I'm excited about what God's doing through man, woman, and things. He's always done this. I didn't know this for 50 years, though. So through the whole thing, I haven't had a dull day in 17 years. Even though all hell I thought come against me, when this began to happen, the government agencies jumped on me. I mean, everything from the Better Business Bureaus to the attorney generals of some states, the FDA, they personally threatened to come up and lock me up. The head man said, I'll personally come up there in a few choice words, said, I'll handcuff you and lock you up. And at that time, I was so excited about what was going on, I told him, glory to God, man, tell me when you're coming. I want to have some TV cameras. And God knew that I was going to need some attorneys that knew I wasn't crazy. 6 months before all of this come down on me now, this is history, years ago now. There was one attorney in the area. He was an assistant district attorney. And the Lions Seafood, or the Lions Club had a seafood boil, and he got poisoned. Any of you know about Ryder syndrome? It'll kill you. There's no cure for it. Young man, 37 years old, wife, 2 children, and his wife pregnant, shut his business down, and his Christian doctor told him, said, Steve, there's no cure for what you've got, but if you get healed, it'll be a miracle of God. He said, if you don't think that'll get a lukewarm Baptist attention, you've been going to church, playing church, and all of a sudden, the only chance you got is with this God that you hadn't been paying any attention to. He said, I was at a point I'd never been to in my life, so weak I couldn't pick my 1.5-year-old baby up. So 1 week later, God put us together. God totally healed him. And he told me, a friend I was at his house said, Steve, start drinking the neutralizer. Never been used for these things up until that point. He reported a total healing. Now he's assistant district attorney at Rayville, Louisiana. And he's one of the few lawyers I know that go around every day telling about Miracle 2 products. His wife come down with toxemia, totally delivered drinking the neutralizer. Something you can drink, you can rub it on you. Have pain someplace, just rub it on wherever it's hurting. Totally gone. I want some of you to put it to the test before you get out of here. Okay, we turned the neutralizer into a gel. God moved on us to do that using a neutral gelling agent. Now people take the neutralizer, they tell me they brush their teeth with it. They put it on their hair to hold it in place. Many has told me, said, Clayton, it is exciting to know you've got a product you can brush your teeth with, hold your hair in place, and if you got hemorrhoid problems, it'll totally solve that. But there has not been one infirmity. I think in the literature there's 101 infirmities that has been reported. I just report what people tell me, and I tell people, if you want to get excited, come to the factory and answer my telephone one day, and you'll see things happening in people's lives that nobody can say some man concocted something up. And to get back to the soap now, this soap, you can bathe a brand new baby. You can get a beauty treatment. And you ladies, if you want a spiritual face lift, get on this for a month. And if every woman you run into doesn't ask you, what are you doing? Have you had a facelift? Oh, I'll go out of the business. Because I hear this from time to time from many people. Because when you don't injure this coating, the largest organ of the body, when you don't injure that, every 28 days they tell me this marvelous thing goes through a recycling period. And if you don't injure it during that time, you just come out with beautiful, beautiful skin. So bathe the baby, take a shower, take a bath, shampoo your hair, go jump in and clean your oven without any gloves on. Clean your carpet up. Shampoo your dog, and they tell me it kills all the fleas and ticks on the dog. Not an extra item. God just give us one thing to clean up everything with. Okay? I'll tell you about all the products and I'll come in between, because all of this is fascinating. And whenever you go back home, wherever you're from, and you pass this literature out, you'll have people beating on your door. You can make good money. You can be a blessing to people Okay, we've got the two soaps, the gel and the neutralizer. You can use the neutralizer for a sunblock. It's reported by thousands of people all over the world. It's healed everybody that has used it in Saudi Arabia of skin cancer. They have a lot of skin cancer over there. And I get reports. A man from Saudi Arabia spent 3 hours in the office about 2 weeks ago telling me all the beautiful things. They're washing clothes in it over there, testing it. A year ago or 2 years ago, if you'd have asked me, how about bathing honeybees? I'd never thought of it, but God moved on somebody in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. His bees were dying. We've all heard about the bee mites, the brood mites. Companies with earthly minds give them poison strips to put in the beehives. We don't know whether it's going to poison the bees or not. We just don't know. Okay, this man was moved on. How do you give a bee a bath? You go to his house late of the evening, take the top off, and give everybody a bath that's at home. Neutralizer killed all the mites. The bees drank the neutralizer. They got parasite-free and cleaned up because they have a little digestive system like we have. They have to eat. They get bogged down. You get back to energy. The man told me, he said, Clayton, the bees are bringing home 80% more honey than I have ever seen. Stands to reason, if the bee feels good, he brings more home every day. Same as a human being. And once you get on this, I hate to see it get dark. I can't wait to see it get daylight because I have spent years of my life in pain, major doctors, the best insurance. But I'll tell you, when this was revealed to me 12 years ago, the healing, this product was sold totally for commercial and industrial use. For the first 5 or 6 years it was sold. Then God revealed it in healing. And it's just absolutely amazing when you see this, even a bee, to get healthy, the energy. So when you get on this, you will feel so good till most people around you can't stand you because you have nothing that'll aggravate you. Because when you feel good and you're happy and you know you've got a hold of something so simple, then people will think you're nuts. But to get back to the attorneys, when the man from New Orleans, and listen, I'm all for control. If there's faulty material out there, shut it down. If it's harmful to people, shut it down. These people got a terrible job to do. They infringe in places, but they still got a terrible job to do, and I respect them for it. But when I told him that, he got really mad. And I said, I'll have my attorney call you. He said, you do that. My attorney told me the first thing he said when he called him, said, let's shut that man down. You know what he's doing. He said, do I know what he's doing? Let me tell you about it. Told him through his venture, his 2 kids, his wife pregnant, had the baby beautifully. All of them on it. The kid's never been sick since they've been on it. They fed it to that baby in its formulation from the time it was born. And he said, Clayton, you know I've never had a government agency to tell me I was crazy. He said, I am. I believe all of this. I've seen it. So my attorney knew that there was 3 things that no agency controlled. I didn't know that. There's 3 things that you can get out and blabbermouth, and there's no rules and regulations on it. If you say you sat in that chair, or you swam with a dolphin, and you could fly 10 foot, and it happened. You can do that. They don't control your testimony. No agency. No agency controls God. No agency controls soap. I didn't know that. So the 800 dealers plus in the United States, they're going out telling about what God's doing. We've been checked out by every agency. But to get back to the last one, about 6 years ago, sitting at the office, got this big registered letter. I didn't even know they had this department. Chemical Warfare Department of the United States. You talk about an old country boy getting excited. My God said that he had put me in high places to tell about what he's doing. I got that letter and read it, and man, it was critical. According to their writings, I had stuff that was ready to just tear the country up. Chemical warfare, a material. I just had a soap. I didn't know it was that dangerous. So I got on the telephone, called that number. Man answered. I said, I want a contract. You got me regulated making chemical warfare a material. I want to make some money off the government. He said, hey, man, slow down. Where you calling from? I said, West Monroe, Louisiana. He said, man, I'm from Baton Rouge. What's going on in the homeland? Took 2 hours telling him this whole thing, and he said, man, no one of the bureaucrats got shook up over this. He said, Clayton, I'm going to send you a form, fill it out, then I'm going to put a personal letter in your file stating, leave this man alone, finally something good is coming out of Louisiana. I've never heard from anybody again, but this is probably the wildest story you've ever heard. It'd take about 3 days, maybe in the seminars or the workshops. I want some people that want to know what a now God is doing. He's looking for somebody that wants to go to work, do the miraculous, and give him glory for it. Somebody that's interested in agriculture. If you're not interested in help and helping people in what God is doing and what he's doing in agriculture, don't come to the workshop. Go to somebody else, whoever you want to participate with. But I only have positive things to tell people, and if you will believe what I tell you, you'll go out and you'll be one of them that goes about changing people's health. Doctors are great. They've got a function. But they've turned too many people into a number. You know that. But with this, every Christian doctor, every Christian attorney, every Christian chiropractor, and every Christian nurse that I know nationwide, they use this product. I'm trying to get to as many as I can. Now we got 4 products there. We've got one more. For years, I was in the Marine Corps. Spent 2 years, 2 months, and 29 days in Korea. And this right hand like to froze off of me. I come out of there with something they sprayed on us. Country boy couldn't get a tan. The pigment of his skin was terrible. They treated me for many years, the service did. Then they turned me over to a local dermatologist, and he done the best he could. He tormented me for 2 years, and I finally give up. I wore hats, long sleeve shirts, being out with the public, I'd walk up to somebody and I could see them step back about 4 foot in their eyes, saying, I wonder if that mess is catching that old man's got. Spotted skin, rashes. But when this healing started, a woman that I had been swapping 3 Christmas trees for a 5-gallon bucket of soap, Pat Antley, she run the latest bass fishing tournaments all over the United States. Some of you may be into that, you'll know her. They own Cherry Hill Christmas Tree Farm in West Monroe, Louisiana. She called me up one night and said, Clayton, did you know that soap would heal skin cancer? She said, you know, my mama's 92 years old and her old skin was like tree bark staying out in the Christmas trees all the time, pruning them and grooming them. And she said, my mama's skin, I've had her bathing in that soap that I've been cleaning the bass boats up with, the trailers, the cars, and said, my mama's skin is as smooth as a baby's rear end. That's exactly what she told me. She said, I've been using it on my skin cancer, just washing, and they've all healed. What do you think about it? I said, woman, hold the phone. Let me go jump in the tub of it. I'd never used it up until that time. And from then till now, it amazes me. People come up to me and ask me if I wear makeup because I've got a smooth sheen to my skin now and all. That's reported by a lot of people. I don't know, I still don't look pretty. I look at my own self in the mirror, but a lot of people come up to me and say, what do you use on your skin? It's not wrinkled up like a lot of people and all. And I say, well, you're looking at Jesus mostly, but I use Miracle too. So through the whole thing, one by one, these healings was reported by other people. But so many people are using this product all over the world now. We get down to a moisturizer, the Korean thing, my hand almost froze off. I could do that and I could hear my skin break. It would bleed and bleed. This right hand stayed sore for a good 25 years. I tried everything. One day, a sales lady at a bottle company in Reno, Nevada, said, Clayton, there's a man in Monument, Colorado that makes a miracle lotion. I've got to get you two together. You make a miracle soap, he makes a miracle lotion. I called him and found out he was born and raised within 5 miles of where I was born and raised at. Moved to Colorado, deserted the swamplands and come to the mountains. I don't much blame him after driving around it. But anyway, he sent me some of his material. God gave him the formulation to that the same year he gave me the formulation to the soap. I got his material, but it was too greasy. I had used enough Vaseline. You could just go any place and people knew I had been there. Everything was greasy. The kids had to go wipe the steering wheels off of the car, the rocker handles, everything. The only thing I could find give me a little relief. So the man sent me some of his moisturizer. It was too greasy. Spirit of God moved on me to mix it 50-50 with the neutralizer and the gel. And there was the only odorless and greaseless skin moisturizer created that's made in the world. If you want some odor, you can spice it up if you want it. But so many people are allergic to odorants and things like that. So if you're looking for a moisturizer that won't grease everything down, you can put it on, touch your clothes, won't get anything on your clothes. And my old hands, about like I want them now. So foot problems, all of these problems, it'll totally solve it. It's reported by thousands of people all over the world. So we have those 5 products that if you'll quit buying 15 products and replace them with 5, You'll be money ahead. This won't cost you a penny. Then you can take your bath water, take it, and when you read Genesis, where it says, God give man dominion over every creeping and crawling thing on the earth, when you can take your bath water and have dominion over every fire ant hill in your area, every bug problem, you can get excited about that then, because this is impossible. And people say, well, must be poison. No, water is the most dangerous liquid in the world. It'll kill you. Get some in your lungs, you'll die from it. Simplest form to kill a bug. When this is mixed together, 1 ounce of the soap, 1 ounce of the neutralizer, it creates a supernatural wetting agent. You wet him, and it drowns him. The amount of water it'd take to drown an ant or a bug, we couldn't even see it. I spent about a month ago in Wisconsin. This farmer called me. I like to see people, this farmer had been praying to get out of debt. Man never seen a potato patch so big. 6,000 acres of potatoes. 6,000 acres of corn and beans. Bugs trying to eat them up. He said God moved on him from me speaking in the Padre Islands last February at an agriculture farm meeting. He has sprayed all of his crops with this. He will have used it 13 times when the growing season is up. He said, you've got to be up here the 6th of July when we dig the red-skinned potatoes. So I was there. So now when I go into a grocery store and I see a bag of potatoes, I go by, I patted one last night in one store up here. I said, honey, I know what you've been through to get here. I seen them get a haircut with a bush hog. I saw them dig them, truck them to the washing machine, give them a bath, then run them through the dryer, then the sorting line, then they run them through a bagger, bag them and sew them and dump them out on the tray, and then they get on a grocery truck or somebody hauling them to a store. I'll respect a bag of potatoes because I know what it's been through. But anyway, the man's getting more potatoes than he ever got. He found out when he reads, God give us dominion over every creeping and crawling thing, it killed 100% of the potato bugs that eats his crop up. So all he's done is clean his fields, give all the bugs a bath, and in the process, he had dominion over them. So, bountiful potato crop. He called me Friday, was 2 weeks ago, excited. He said, Clayton, I went out and made a test dig on these big potatoes that Frito-Lay and all of these potato chip companies buy to make big potato chips. He said, I made a dig, and normally, I believe he told me this poundage, 34,000 pounds per acre. And he said, I made a dig, and if I dug them right now, I'd have 68,000 pounds, and I got a month to grow. So God's going to bless that man bountifully this year in agriculture. Just health, agriculture. God moved on people in Greece to spray it on citrus fruit trees. The blight and the rust on the leaves smother. There again, we get down to energy. The plant can't get energy, the body can't get energy, the energy can't come out to perform. It hinges on energy. So they're spraying the citrus fruit trees. They're growing better. So there's a possible chance this season you'll be eating some potato chips that's been sprayed with Miracle 2 soap and neutralizer. And there's no telling what they'll do to you now that you know about it. He told me the moisture content was the lowest they'd ever had in a potato. Lower the moisture, more profit. They fry a potato chip, it stays big, it doesn't shrink up. We can all understand that. But this carries you through the 5 products. There's one more I'd like to tell you about that has helped me tremendously. I met a man years ago that was over in Thailand. And he saw the natives using a rock for underarm deodorant. And he said, there's got to be something to that because these people don't smell. They got no odor to them. They sweat, but they don't smell. So being an American, he immediately added 2 and 2 and said, my Lord, that's a business for me. I'm going to go in business selling rocks to Americans, keep from smelling. Fed up with underarm deodorant loaded with aluminum and all kind of gunked up stuff, mess your clothes up and everything else. So he started selling them. Well, about 10 years ago, I found out about it, got with him, sold them all over the country, and people that had rashes, lumps under their arms, and all kind of problems, totally solved. And anything that I see is good and God created, I've got to tell people about it. Don't make much money off of them, but I like to help people. So we have that stone back there, and one of them will last you for years. I don't know. My son, the guy back there with the beard, he doesn't have a Harley parked out. He wish he did. But, you know, they tagged that on him, but he's the president of the corporation, so, you know, he's a good kid. He's my baby. He and I have been working together. When this happened to me, every one of my friends left me. They thought I'd totally flip when this happened, when God intervened in my life and gave me all of this knowledge and all. But it stood 17 years of total success. And I just say, when God gives you something, it'll stand up against all that comes against it. So many things. Energy. Things has come to us in the last couple of years, Eloptic energy. Sounds good. Most people don't even know what it is. Most people know what optic energy is, light energy. But God had given instructions on how to put this together through energy fields that I knew nothing about. I just done it. So this material is run through a system of 440 volts of electricity. And 2 years ago, God put me with a man that makes a piece of equipment called an ESP machine that energizes water. And after I got to looking at it, I also sell them for houses to keep your pipes from stopping up, getting the whole system cleaned up. And I got to reading all that, and I said, glory to God, I've had this for 17 years. Only a bigger thing. It can't be trucked around. That we run this energy through. I heard this young lady that was just speaking up here, energy in ditch water, tap water, about 50 energy points. You can take and run 1 drop of the soap, 1 drop of the neutralizer through this ESP unit, and you have an energy level that is unbelievable. So the neutralizer and all of our products from the beginning, they have held over 200,000 Eloptic energy units. That's the reason you can take a sip of it and absolutely get on a exciting high, because it energizes the system that's running on about 300 or 400 optic energy units. Those 6 million electrical cells, and a lot of people say, oh man, I don't believe that. I say, well, if you ever have a heart attack, Now I'll know to tell them to do this, or either I'll say, are they going to hook you up to an air machine or a water hose? They're going to jump start you with a battery jump starter. You're an electrical unit. You're an energy unit. And whenever you have this knowledge to go and give it to other people, when you have knowledge, your own medicine. For years I took medicine for pain. Nobody's ever suffered with pain any more than I have. I was in a critical wreck in '69, laid totally disabled for 9 months. I can talk pain to you. But in the last 12 years, since God revealed to me how to keep your nervous system in total, perfect balance and your body in balance, this is free. All you've got to do is know how to do it. And in the workshops, I'll be teaching this hands-on so you can not have to take any medicine. We have people taking, the most I've ever heard of somebody taking is $800 worth of medication a month. After 3 months on this product, she come back to me and told me, Clayton, I don't take anything now. Feel better than I ever felt in my life, but I hear people taking 300, 250. But when you know what to do, and you get some of that neutralizer in you, as reported by many people that's had tests on them, they have no cholesterol that they don't need in their system. There's a doctor called me out of Missouri about 6 months ago. He was moved on to run a liver cleansing test. He said it was the only product he had ever seen that would cleanse the liver without any side effects. 17 years, we've had one person say it didn't work for him. You might have to play with it to fit your body structure. But if you'll take this and use it for a month in every conceivable way that you can think of to use it, you'll see your health rebound, and it won't cost you 1 penny because you'll stop buying about 25 products that you've been buying to do one simple thing, just clean up your body and your environment around. And you can't give the glory to anybody but God. You can't cut this in any way but a blessing from the Creator on His people to them that believe. And you that know the Bible, He says, them that understand will instruct many. Then He tells us, don't be slow to follow them that have overcome through faith and patience. I've had it. But it's been a glorious thing, and I just want you to experience what I've been doing. I want to share this with you. I want to get you in this business. If you got $10 laying in the bank, you can turn it into 30 in minutes. If you got 5,000, you can turn it into 15,000. We've never had a distributor to lose 1 penny in this business. It's the only product you'll ever read. You'll never read new and improved put on a bottle of this material. It's perfect when God give it to me, and you can't improve on that. And I know this is, I've seen the expression, a few of you, I know it's comical, but I just want you to get involved in something that's real now. And not one word of this literature, I challenge you to pick it up and read it. There's not one word of that can be discredited because it's from other people. And if you've got an infirmity and you want to talk to somebody that has been healed with this, there's tens of thousands of people that I can line you up that's got one of your problems, and all they've done is clean their body up and have the knowledge of keeping their nervous system and their body in total completeness. You can't take your body to a doctor. The only one you can take it to is the manufacturer for a total overhaul. You got a Ford nowadays, you got to take it to the Ford dealer. If you got a Chevrolet, you may not understand this, but when you take that body back to God, He'll reconstruct it. And I'll be demonstrating this. I go off to shows, we have people lined up to witness this. I have a time at these shows. I hate to see older people hurt. I hate to see young people hurt. I've just got a compassion for people that's got pain, people that's got no control over their body. I mean, they take this pill, they take that pill. You won't be blown around with every wind of doctrine once you experience this product. So there's one other thing, she told me at about 5 minutes. There was a lady called me and told me her mother was 92 years old, just laying around on the couch waiting to die. And she said, I heard about this product. I said, well, I'm just going to get her to use it. So she got her to bathe and shower and drank and rub it on her poor 92-year-old joints and everything. She said just a few days, Mama just come up off the couch. And started moving around. A few days, as far as what I understood her telling me, 3 months, she wanted to go get her driver's license again. And when she would get out, the people would say, well, I thought you was just about dead. She'd say, my daughter found something that God give a man over in Louisiana, and I've been drinking it and rubbing it on me, and I have come back alive. And they'll say, well, where can you get that stuff? She said, I got some in the trunk of the car. This lady at 92 is having more fun probably than she had in half of her life because she's helping other people now. Her daughter's the same age of me, 66, and she said, Clayton, what do you do to your mama when she don't want to come in? I said, kid, let your mama hang out as long as she wants to. Leave her alone. So I'll tell you one more. Have I got just a minute? Okay. A lady here in Denver. She goes to nursing homes. She ministers to people, 80, 85, 86 years old. She said this one gentleman, he couldn't talk, but she said he had about a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch in places of cradle cap where his scalp had not peeled off. And she took the soap and bathed his head with it and all that come off. And so she started massaging 2 or 3 drops of the skin moisturizer on his scalp. She said she'd done it a couple of times a week. She was gone for about 2 months, and when she come back to the nursing home, the administrator said, I want to see you. She was wondering, she went into his office, and he said, what have you been rubbing on Mr. So-and-so's head? We've had to give that man a haircut. He's got a good set of hair now. So try it on anything that you would have the courage, be adventurous, to step out into some cutting edge, ahead of the curve technology that did not come from man. It was not conjured up with somebody's finite mind. Get involved in something that you've never found any more real than this, to where you can go out, make as much money as you want to make, be a barrier of good news, and never have a bad day, because you can live pain-free if you'll do some simple things. If you'll do some of this, if you'll do some of the other people's knowledge that God has revealed to them. And I meet with a lot of people that won't admit God give them something in public because you're automatically, in most cases, stamped a nut. But I'm the happiest nut in the country. Time up, she said.